and welcome to Next Steps for Seniors, Conversations on Aging. I'm your host, Wendy Jones, and this program is really designed to answer all the questions that you have about tomorrow, today. I'm here today with Erica and Marianne, and we're just giving you little ideas, hints, cues, whatever you want to call it, tips, because there is a lot to pay attention to. And as our loved ones age, I'm just going to be honest, things start simplifying. Whether they want to see it or not, things get a little bit narrower. They don't go downstairs anymore. They don't use one of the bedrooms anymore, or they don't go upstairs anymore. They're just using the kitchen and the family room and the bedroom. So just think simplify. And it's not a cause for concern unless some of the things that we've talked about today start happening. But really, life does need to get simpler. We do need to talk a little slower so they can process us. We need to talk a little louder so they can hear us. But these are great things. This means that your loved one is aging. Guess what? We all age. There's no magic pill. Every single one of us in this entire world are going to get older. And that's why there's this program, because we want to have these conversations. We're not going to pretend like it's not happening, because it's happening, and it's happening to every single one of us. Falls, when it comes to a senior or an elderly person, it's a very big deal. So, Erica, I want you to answer, if you could, my first question is, where do most falls happen?
Most falls happen in the bathroom, according to the CDC. So the Center for Disease Control states that the bathroom is the most hazardous place because we're getting up in the middle of the night so frequently. We're not turning on lights. We're also not picking up throw rugs off the bathroom floor. So as we shuffle into the bathroom because we're unsure of our step and our gait, we're shuffling into the bathroom. We're not turning on the light because the bathroom and the toilet have been in the same place for 5, 10, 15, 50 years. And you get to the point where you should just know where it's at. But the unexpected thing is when you hit your hip on the vanity where the sink is, or you miss the toilet when you're coming down and hit your head. So the CDC also reports that over 300,000 people over the age of 65 fall every year, and about 37% of those people require medical care. So when a fall happens, it's so very important to go to the hospital and have that picture taken of your head to ensure that there's not a brain bleed. If your hip is sore, if your legs are sore, if your foot is sore, seek medical attention for your loved one, because that can be an indicator of a major break, which could cause blood clots. Right. It could also, the unfortunate part of all of this is that some falls do result in death. And we want to make sure that everybody is taken care of and gotten the best medical care that they have possible to ensure their quality of life is the same, but also that they're going to be able to return home to all of their treasures.
Right. And I do feel bathrooms are a huge one. Right. Showers, going to the bathroom, anything you're doing in the bathroom, literally. And there's some things that you can put in the bathroom for safety, which we're going to get into the next segment. But I want to tell a story because I do feel like it's important to pay attention to some of these things. And here's the example. This lady was in her closet getting her clothes out, walks over to, she has nylons. Now she's like 86. She's putting on her nylons, and I just need you to picture this, standing in her closet, putting on her nylons. One foot, you pick up a foot, she's balancing and putting on her nylons. So what happened? She fell. She just wiped out, bam, broke a hip, and was never the same again. And it was devastating to me. And I remember talking to her saying, what happened? Like, she was so fantastic and so strong and had all these things going on. And she ministered, actually. She used to minister with me. So when she told me she fell putting on her nylons, and I just looked at her like, number one, you're standing. I said, where were you when you fell? And she said, I was in my closet. She has a walk-in closet. I said, you were putting your nylons on in the closet. Were you sitting or standing? And she's like, well, I was standing. And I was like, what? So listeners, put a chair in your family's bedroom. Some kind of bench, some kind of chair. Anytime you put socks, shoes, nylons, pants, sit down and put them on and then stand up. It is not that hard. This sweet woman, I am not even kidding you, probably could have lived 15 more years, and she died within 6 months.
Well, and the other things that we have to consider too is that we do the same thing every day for so long. She's probably been wearing nylon since she was 14 years old.
For sure.
So for over 70 years, but we have to recognize that as we age, we have to change some of our habits in order to continue to do what we were doing. It's just so important. But who found her at her house in her closet?
Oh, she was there for a long time.
The same thing. I was wondering the same thing, the importance of having, how long was she there, Wendy?
I want to say 6 or 7 hours before somebody kept calling and nobody answered and they went over.
So that's the importance of having family members reach out or having some type of life alert, whether it's a bracelet or a necklace or
Apple
something,
Watch.
Or they can just call, Alexa, call 911 or call my daughter and all of these things. With technology and all the things that we have, there's no reason that we cannot have our loved ones reach out and have somebody so they're not laying on the closet floor for 7 or 8 hours with a broken hip.
Oh gosh, yes.
I have another quick story. Actually, it was somebody I'd never ever heard this happening. It was a friend of ours. Actually, both of us, we know them, Wendy, but, she was getting out of bed and she actually slipped. So she missed her step when getting out of bed and she hit her neck on the side dresser and she broke her neck.
Oh.
And praise God that the actual daughter was in the other room and was there.
So she heard it.
So she was able to get there quickly. But can you even imagine if she wasn't there?
No. What are some of the other things, Erica, that we need to think about when it comes to falls? And that's a great story. We have to pay attention. Even sitting on the side of the bed for just a second before you stand up, I think is important, because you've been laying flat, let's say for 8 hours all night long, and then all of a sudden you just jump out of bed. I don't think so. I think we need to sit for a second and then stand up.
So absolutely, when anybody comes from a laying position into a sitting position to go standing, they should stop and get their bearings. It's just so important to center yourself into a sitting position from a laying down position. And then when you stand, you should also take a moment to recognize and make sure your balance is right. That's what occupational and physical therapy does when you're leaving a skilled nursing facility for rehab. And they're ensuring that you're taking the time to take care of yourself and to know where your center of gravity is. Because as we age, your center of gravity is not as stable as you were when you were 16 and playing football. A couple of other things inside the home to pay attention to is not only the throw rugs in the bathroom, but also those large area rugs in the living room and the large rugs sitting in front of the stove or the sink that may provide comfort while your parents are doing dishes or cooking. But as they're coming around the kitchen island, they can get caught and trip and fall. But to go further than that is making sure your parents are wearing shoes inside their house. When they get dressed for the day, you should encourage them to have a full shoe on, not a mule, because a slip-in shoe is something that you can walk out of through the back of the shoe.
You need it when she says that, you need it to go around the back of the heel. Not your whole back of your foot should not be open.
No, you should have a strap. You should have a full shoe that has laces or Velcro, depending on the abilities. But making sure that you're in a full shoe, that their pants are not too long or too loose, because pants that are too long and too loose can also cause trips and falls. Making sure that everything is accessible. Like Marianne had mentioned before, if they can't reach their arms up and extend fully above their head, bring those food items down, bring the coffee cups to a lower portion of the cabinet, because those can also cause falls. And another big part of falls is ensuring that your medications don't have contraindicators for a different medication that you're taking. You know, we hear stories about how people are on 5, 10, 12, 15 medications, but they're on a medication for one thing, but it makes them dizzy and then they're on a dizzy medication and it makes their stomach queasy.
And then they're on a nausea head-to-head medication.
So it's just a vicious cycle. So we have to ensure that all of their medications are working the right way. So going back to the pharmacist is one way to prevent a fall.
I got to tell you, just quick story. I had a friend who their mother got a little step stool, right? Because like you just said, things were up high. 3 steps. She is up 3 steps trying to reach a bowl and falls in the kitchen. So no ladders, please. Like, let's move everything down a little bit lower. If you have to pull out a step stool, I'm just going to say this out loud. If you have to pull out a step stool and you're over the age of like 75, move that product lower. It's not worth it. It is not worth it. So important. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to Next Steps for Seniors, Conversations on Aging. So this segment is all about those solutions. How do we resolve these problems? What do we need to do? Let's start with the assisted devices. Let's start with the bathroom, the grab bars. You know, Erica mentioned most of our falls happen in the bathroom. So where do those grab bars go? And do you have grab bars in your loved one's bathroom? I think it's important to have those.
So grab bars should be located near the toilet so that way someone can transition on and off safely, because a lot of our toilets are located a little bit lower. So there's other mobility devices you can add to the toilet, but there's also high-rise toilets that you can switch out, and also add handrails that may extend from the toilet seat itself, making sure that at mid-level, there's a grab bar in the shower that goes horizontal as well as one that goes laterally. So we want to make sure that we have one vertical and we have one that just sits about the belly button or slightly higher. So that way when we're transitioning in and out of the bathtub and the shower, that they have something safe and dry to hold on to that has a grip. Can't just be PVC.
I think it's important to know, and this is what I did with a client. When they're dressed and you're hanging out and talking, say, I want to see you get into the shower. And any place that they put their hand as a place to like steady themselves is where a grab bar should be. So when you open the shower door and you take a step in, you usually put your hand right on the side of the shower. There should be a grab bar there. And when they step in and touch that back wall, there should be, like she mentioned, a grab bar there. So just pay attention and watch. Get it, Mom, do me a favor. Just get in and out of the shower really quick and let me just watch you and where you're touching, because it's not that hard. And please don't do the suction ones. Do a real grab bar. It's not that expensive. You can call a durable medical equipment company and install them, but it is not difficult and it's very important. There's some other assisted devices. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I would just mention within the shower, just make sure there is a seat also so that they can sit down. And I think it's important too to have the shower attachment where they can grab and they can just rinse themselves. It slides down and goes up, but they're able to sit down, and it's important to have like their washing soap where they can grab where they're sitting. So
not on the floor,
right, not on the floor, not reaching, they don't have to reach up. They don't have to bend over, all of those things. So actually it's good to just get in your loved one's shower and figure out the best way, or have them do it. Yeah. Just like Wendy said.
Nope. I think that's a great idea. It's shocking how many people keep the shampoo and the conditioner on the floor in the shower. It's like, just put a little shelf. How hard is it? You can hang it from the shower head. Very, very simple. Okay. Did you have something else on the shower or grab bars? Okay. Night lights, please. Please, night lights in the middle of the night. Everyone gets up in the middle of the night, minimum one time. You've got to have a lighted path. Even if it's motion censored, even if it's not, just have night lights in the bathroom, in the bedroom, in the closet, wherever you need them.
They're amazing new night lights that you actually can install on your outlets in your bathroom and in your hallways, that when the lights go off, it triggers the night light to go on to illuminate the pathway, which is amazing because you don't have to swap batteries out in them.
I love it.
Or unplug them every day from your hallways and from your bathrooms.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say too, I live in an area personally where we lose power a lot. So actually having the night lights that when the power goes off, they have been charging in the system that they automatically go on as well.
Great idea. So real common is the washer and dryer in the basement. And so here's just one little quick tip. If you have a loved one with washer and dryer in the basement, number one, do their laundry for them every week. I think that would be great. But number two, have a rail on both sides of the staircase. So if you can just close your eyes and visualize this with me for a second. You've got an 80-some-plus-year-old woman who's doing her laundry, folds her clothes, puts it in her laundry basket, walks over to the steps and starts holding the basket, walking up the steps. How does she do that? She sets the basket down, takes a step, sets the basket down on the next step, takes a step, sets the basket down on this is not worth it. Mm-mm. And what happens when they fall? They reach up and grab a bar. They're not going to go onto the side that the bar's on. They might reach to the other side. At least if you have bars on both sides, it is hugely beneficial. I am not a proponent of anyone doing laundry in the basement, but if it's an absolute necessity, please put bars on both sides going down to the basement. That's just my 2 cents.
Absolutely.
Okay, we're going to do a quick Q&A session because we do this at the end of every program. My first Q&A question was, what is decision paralysis?
So decision paralysis is where our loved ones or anybody really is overwhelmed with a lot of smaller decisions and are unable to follow through the task of decision making because there's just so much on their mind and on their heart that they have decision paralysis. They just can't make a decision. So one of the important things about decision paralysis is to kind of take some of those small decisions off of your parents. If they can't go grocery shopping anymore because they have laundry to do, deliver their groceries for them. They can't make a decision between doing the laundry and the dishes. Go downstairs and do the laundry for them. Hey, Mom, do you want to finish your dishes? Let me go swap your laundry for you. Because if you can take some of those smaller decisions of the life decisions to do, when it comes to what they should do with their bills and when it's time to move, they're going to be able to be empowered to make those decisions for themselves and not overwhelmed that they have 4 bedrooms and 2 living rooms and a basement to pack up because you've already went through some of those things like their Christmas ornaments that had been there for quite some time that they no longer decorate with. So if you can take some of those small decisions away and help them through that, they're no longer paralyzed and they don't get overwhelmed by such small decisions.
Fantastic. And my next question is an example of a family plan. So do you have a family plan in case of an emergency? And if you do, what is it?
Right. A family plan, if you have brothers and sisters and are able, it really takes the burden off of one person. And so I know in our personal family, my sister lives in Grand Rapids 3 hours away. And so what she does is she calls my mom at the same time every night. It's usually at 7:00 at night. If my mom does not pick up, she waits 30 minutes and calls again. And if she doesn't pick up, she is calling myself or my brother to go. My brother actually lives with her, which is a blessing. He does that. So he's in house, but not every night. But also, then my husband and I will go over there if she doesn't pick up the phone. So that is a daily plan that we all are touching. And then also, just in person taking her out. Because in my case, people really just want quality time. They just want to be. They don't necessarily want to go to the grocery shopping anymore or going to Target or shopping. They just really want to maybe sit and have a meal, maybe drive around and look at the colors. We live in Michigan, so they like to take drives in the snow and different things like that. So that's a simple family plan. In the event of an emergency, that's kind of what we've set up. If we have a daily touch, and then
I like each person in the family having a different role.
Yes.
So you take the weekends.
Yes.
Everyone knows that you have the weekends for Mom.
Right.
Everyone knows that your sister's calling, so many times every day. Mm-hmm. Your brother's living in the house. So I really am a strong proponent of assigning, okay, brother 1, brother 2, and brother 3. This is your job, and this is your job.
Right.
And if we don't do that, Nobody knows who's talking. And then all of a sudden you're calling everyone going, have you talked to mom? Have you talked to mom? Have you talked to mom? Nobody knows where she is or what she's doing.
Right. And we're all so busy. So it really does take the burden and everybody can feel a part that they're helping mom. We share the responsibility
and, Dad, but
and
yes.
we have to show honor to our aging parents.
Yeah. I got a quick story before we close. So in regards to falls or anything happening, to be honest, the Apple Watch, whether or not you know it, has a device that if it goes down quickly, it alerts authorities and they will come to you. So I am walking out of the hospital with a colleague and she had her Apple Watch on and she's a little bit of a senior and she tripped over the step right next to me. Like literally her foot got caught and she went face first down onto the cement. Now, of course, I drop everything and try to catch her, which didn't happen, but I think I made the fall a little bit lighter. And we're picking up all of our stuff, and I keep hearing this sound. And she's like, oh, that's my watch. That's my watch. I'm like, what is that? So she's like, I better stop it or they're going to come. The ambulance is going to come. And we're already at the hospital. But anyway, she goes, so she gets up and she pushes this button. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? That is the best invention there could ever be. Why would everybody not have one of those? This is critical. This is important. This is the tip of the day. Have some kind of device on anyone that you love that is elderly so it will notify authorities as soon as you hit the ground. I appreciate you tuning in to Next Steps for Seniors Conversations on Aging.